Jayson Tatum, all right. Jared Weiss of The Athletic did a phenomenal deep dive interview with Jayson Tatum and how he wants to be remembered, how he's trying to improve. He wants to be the face of the league with Steph Curry and LeBron James, starting to, get into the twilight of their stardom, right? Almost exiting the lead. And Tatum believes that this is his opportunity to now be the face of the league. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I'm glad he feels that way. He should feel that way. When you're like one of the best, top 10 players in the league, I think, and you're young, you should feel that way. I just don't think he'll be the face of the league over, let's say, Anthony Edwards
Hmm,
or Wemby. And he's currently not the face of the league. I think LeBron and Steph are currently still the face of the league. I know we're going to get
for
to
sure.
Steph a little bit later, but those are the two guys. And I think there could be two faces of the league, right? Like we've seen it in the Magic Bird era. So I do believe that Edwards and Wemby could be the face of the NBA. All these guys got to win championships. I mean, Jokic already got one. I don't know if he has the personality to be the face of the NBA. And then we also have to throw Luka Doncic in the mix as well with a few other guys. We got to see what happens this year and the next few years going forward.
Would you say that Steph and LeBron are currently the two faces of the NBA? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely possible to have two faces or multiple faces of the league.
Right.
But the thing that Tatum talks about in this article is, you know, he feels like there's an unfair pressure for, how you talk about guys like LeBron, Steph, how he has to win a championship. And he believes that this is an unfair pressure on him. I don't necessarily understand why he thinks this is an unfair pressure on him. I mean, the Celtics have had a lot of success, especially that first year when they had Kyrie. Granted, Gordon Hayward went down, but then you don't have Kyrie for the playoff for I forget if it was all the playoffs or most of the playoffs. But then Tatum and Brown and Smart and everybody else decide to like raise their game, go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then it's like, oh wait a minute, we got two dynamic wings in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown that could potentially lead this team to a championship somewhere in the future. And they've made so many good runs as a team. I feel like it's not an unfair expectation that they got to win it all at this point. I get that he's 26 and whatever, but for 7 years you've been in the league, you've been doing work. At this point, it's not just like you can't just say, "Oh, you almost did it, man. We're gonna, give you a pat on the back." You got to win it all, in my opinion.
Lofty goals, lofty expectations, right? Like if you want to be the face of the NBA, you usually have to win a few championships, not just one, right? Like the former faces of the league, Michael Jordan, won 6 championships. He wasn't the face of the league till, maybe one or two, probably after the first one or even the year before he was. But, Michael Jordan's a little bit different. You got to win a few championships. So if you're going to say you want to be the face of the NBA, you got to win chips, man. And I get
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, I do understand ring culture sometimes gets ridiculous. Like it is a team sport. So comparing two individual players just off championships, I don't think is fair. But as the face of the NBA, you got to win. You have to win.
For sure. And the quote from Jared Weiss's article is this is where what Tatum said. He said, "It's a little unfair because everybody don't get the same treatment." Tatum said, "I feel like even some guys older than me or the same age as me get looked at differently than I do. Fair or unfair, whatever it is, I think it's because we've had so much early success." And I think he answered his own question why he may seem it's unfair. He's had so much early success. But if there's guys older than him, it's because they haven't achieved as much as what Tatum and Brown and the rest of the team has done. And on top of that, ever since Tatum has gotten into the league, it's about how great he could be, his potential of this, and look what the team has done so far. And they've already raised that expectation, and we've seen how great of a scorer he is. And if you want to be considered that guy, you got to see the game adapt. He's done that. All right. He's been a better playmaker. He's gotten to the rim. He's eliminated the long twos. And so now it's like, can you show up when it matters most? It's cool that you got into Eastern Conference Finals, but can you show up where it matters most? And even he acknowledged he didn't do that in the finals against the Warriors.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. I had Bob Ryan on my show. You could catch that on the NBA report a few episodes back on Combo's Court. But I asked him, is Jayson Tatum a superstar? Getting into this conversation, you have to be a superstar first, I think, before you become the face.
Right.
And Bob Ryan, an historian of the game, doesn't believe Jayson Tatum is a superstar.
Wow.
He's a Boston Celtics fan. And I know people in the comment section were saying Jayson Tatum is a superstar in every sense of the word, right? They were saying that. But my thing is like in the simplest form, a superstar should be known by or your mom or your grandma should know who that player is, right? Like if I ask my grandma or my mom, uh, is that do you know who Jayson Tatum is? They should have to say yes, right? For them to be a superstar. And I asked my mom, do you know who Jayson Tatum is? She didn't know. So I mean, I think that is part of being a superstar. I know we look at it as being like such an amazing and great player, but I think there's more to it than just how well you play basketball.